So I am going to go on a bit of a rant today. I am trying to bring some awareness, I guess, to the problem that runes have in Season of Discovery and how I believe there are some changes that could be made to make it not as painful to level alts and get all the BIS runes for each alt. And I am saying this as someone who has a lot of alts. These are all my horde tunes, right? But I also have all of these that were for my alliance as well. You know, just a lot. I have almost every class at level 40 for alliance, and I have every class at 50, and then are either 50 or 46 and above for horde. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to runes and Season of Discovery and the leveling process, and I kind of do them in a piecemeal where like I level 2 levels of rested experience, and when I run out of rested, then I swap characters or whatever, so that it's less painful. And I do have a lot of time to go over it, and I just kind of wanted to go through. I have some notes on the side over here, so that's what I'm going to be kind of looking at just for clarity here. And I wanted to kind of go over the different things you could do. We're gonna touch on Dark Riders first. For Dark Riders, what you have to do, there's a little camp here. You go there, you get a trinket, this Arden's sigil or whatever, and then that allows you to walk. There's like a Dark Rider right here. I already turned this in, so it's not showing up for you, but there's a Dark Rider right here. The trinket being on gives you like these eyeball things whenever you get there, and you can click it and it'll spawn the Dark Rider, and you have to kill it here. There's another Dark Rider in Duskwood right here. There's another Dark Rider in Swamp of Sorrows right here, and there's another Dark Rider in Arathi Highlands up here, right? That's for Eastern Kingdom. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 Dark Riders here, right? Then you have to journey all the way over to the Barrens, right? And there's a Dark Rider here at the Barrens. There's another Dark Rider, I believe. There's one more Dark Rider in Desolace, I believe. Yeah, Desolace right here. So there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's 6 Dark Riders total, and you have to travel to 6 different zones, and then you have to, for those runes, you have to, kill the Dark Riders, which are level 40 mobs. I don't believe they're level 40 elites. They're just regular level 40 mobs. They may be elites too, because they're kind of hard to kill if you're level 40. So a lot of times for me personally, while I'm doing my alts, I'm going to do those at like 46 or above, just to make it a lot easier for me. And if you're on like a less populated server, I'm on Wild Growth as Horde, which is less popular than Wild Growth as Alliance, or the PvP servers like Crusader Strike. You're not going to get a lot of alts that are running around that will also, help you kill this. So you're pretty much soloing these. And for me, the Dark Rider quest line is fun the first time, but I think after the first time, I think it should just unlock a vendor. Like you complete that on your alt, and it unlocks a vendor, and you're able to buy the runes and then send it to all your other alts. Because right now, with Season of Discovery, even with the bonus experience, people aren't leveling alts. They're not leveling alts like they were in Phase 1, and they're definitely not doing the Dark Rider thing on every single alt, because it just takes too much time. And most people aren't raiding on multiple characters unless they're like speed running or doing something like that. So first suggestion is definitely make an account wide thing or something unlockable once you do it the first time. That makes it easier to do it with the other alts. Or maybe just make it where if you do one Dark Rider, right, on every character after the first one, it just unlocks a rune. Like if you've done the Dark Rider thing once, doing it 3, 4, 5, 6 times for the quote unquote BIS rune for your class, for each of your classes, is just problematic. There is another quest chain that is very similar to the Dark Riders, where you have to travel a lot for. That quest chain starts in Desolace. There is a campfire thing right here, right? You select that, and you have to go up here, talk to a the guy that's right here. I'm not sure what his name is. Is it Willow? It may be. I don't know. But you talk to him. You turn in the quest there. After you turn that, you get another quest. That quest from Deathless leads you to Booty Bay, right? You come here. You talk to a person in the inn in Booty Bay. You complete that quest, and you buy her like a drink from the inn vendor, and then you give it to her, and then that completes that quest, and then it tells you, okay, go to Arathi Highlands, right? Which you go to Arathi Highlands here. No honor among thieves is the quest. You take this boat. This boat brings you over here to this side. The boat from here like instantly teleports you here, so you're not like swimming across here. But it instantly teleports you to this area, right? And then you have to kill a night elf person there to get a feather to drop for most classes. Sorry, I just transitioned there. But you kill a night elf there for most classes to get a key, which then unlocks a chest that is in the same area that then gives you the rune. I'm pretty sure that's the end of that quest line. And again, that's fun. That's cool. Doing it the first time. However, if you're doing it on 3, 4, 5, 6 different alts, it gets time consuming, and it's just not a fun thing to do to travel all over the world on multiple alts. So again, allowing an alt to, or allowing your main to unlock runes for your alt, I think would just be a much more efficient, a much more fun thing to do, because these quests are not like, they're not fun after you do them, the first or second time. They're just time consuming and annoying. They're not engaging gameplay. Most of the time you're over leveling the content, so you're soloing it because you can't get anyone to help you to do the quest even. And it's just annoying. Both of those they're just annoying quest lines to do multiple times. So yes, have it in the game where you can do it on every single alt that you want, but let's not make it where you have to do it on every alt to get the rune. You could do the quest line still and get the experience for it, and do it if you'd like to do it to get your rune, or you just have your main able to buy the rune, mail it to your alts. Yeah, that just annoying. Priest is another class that is in sorely needed attention. Again, I'm a wild growth horde, and as a priest, if you want buffs, you have to find, I think this is priest level 1 through 30 right now, right? You have 11 of them on the server, right? You have 24 of them on the server, and I'm recording this on a Saturday at 4:30, right? 24 people, 24 priests on the server on a Saturday. 36 1 through 49, 36 priests total, 1 through 49. And so for priests, you have to go to these different altars. There's one in Ogrimmar. There's one, I believe, down in Sinjin Village. I haven't actually gone to every one of the priests like altars or whatever to get the buffs, but basically you get these buffs, and you can get, I believe it's 4 total of these buffs, and these buffs then unlock the rune. So when you get a rune, you have to have these buffs in order to like learn the rune, and that's a cool thing. I think going to the each runes is a cool like system that they put in. But again, if you're in Season of Discovery and the server population is dying off or it's getting very low, then you need to make it where priests can get these buffs without having to travel all over the world every 4 hours, because the only way that you get them at the different altars, right? You can refresh it with another priest where like they kneel in front of you, you pray, it gives them all of your buffs for 4 hours, and then you can kneel in front of them and they pray on you, and then you get all your buffs refreshed for another 4-hour duration. And having to do that every 4 hours, there's multiple times where I have dropped my priest buffs, and it's to the point now that I'll do like the /2 priest in whatever level range and find anyone that's close to me, and I would just travel to them, because it's less time to just travel to them and get the buffs refreshed than it is to let them fall off and have to travel all over the world in order to get those buffs back, you know, in order to learn runes that you are gonna want to have to do the game content. Like the runes are so vital that like you really need the runes. It's like you need those buffs, and like having to refresh those every 4 hours all over the world is a burden on priests that I don't think any other class have at all. And I think that simplifying that is something that they should do. You should just make it where it is 24 hours of in-game time every time you get that buff, so that it could take you, you know, weeks for some people to lose the buff at that point, and you know, just increase the duration from 4 hours to like a day, you know. Excuse me. But yeah, something needs to be done with that. I think it's a good idea. I think the implementation is not great. Mage comprehension charms is another thing, and it's mages. The way mages work, when you get a rune, you need a comprehension charm that you can buy from a vendor to learn the rune, which is not a big deal, right? It's really not a big deal. But why are mages having to pay in order to learn their runes when every other class does not have to pay in order to learn their runes? I think it's a restriction that should be lifted. I think if you're going to keep the comprehension charms in, you should make them like 1 copper or something. They should be incredibly cheap instead of, I think they're like 20 silver now or something, 25 silver. It's just a restriction on mages that I think is unfair compared to every other class that doesn't have that system. Also, scrolls for mages are incredibly annoying. It's a gamble thing. You learn these scrolls with the comprehension charm, so you have to buy the scrolls off the auction house or farm them out in the open world, and it's unrealistic to really farm them out in the open world. Like, it will take you forever to do that, honestly. Then you have to buy the comprehension charms and then decipher the scroll, and then you can get like different buffs, like arcane buff or whatever, crit buff or whatever, which if you're going to parse as a mage, you're going to have those, right? If you want to be like a high-end raider as a mage, you're going to have them. If you're trying to do speed runs, you're going to have them. So a lot of the times mages are just buying them off the auction house and just deciphering them over and over and over again to get the buffs that they want, which is a incredible gold sink for buffs that, again, no other class has to have that restriction placed upon them. So again, why are mages having to spend silver, gold, whatever, in order to just get regular buffs for themselves? Like, it seems like an extra burden. So my suggestion is keep the scrolls in the game, don't get rid of them, but just have them convert to like the scrolls for rogues and warriors and, you know, intellect buffs and all the scrolls that are already in the game from classic WoW. Have it just be something that those scrolls will decipher into, instead of making this new thing specific to mages that can't be traded, and that you have to basically gamble in order to get the ones that you actually want as a mage. Yeah, it's a bad system in my opinion all the way around. I haven't liked it since phase 1, and if it dies off tomorrow, it would be too soon, honestly. Or I'm sorry, it would be too late. It should have happened. It should have never been like phase 1. They should have learned from that and said, okay, this is a bad system, and replaced it, but they didn't. Also, this may be more of a controversial take, but I think lockpicking, having to level lockpicking as a rogue in order to learn your runes, should be very minimal thing. Like, for rogues, you can go to right here by Ratchet. There's like a boat right here that you can get on, and you can do lockpicking on these boxes to get to like 80 or 90, I believe. For Alliance, you have the same thing, but it's in Red Ridge, and it's in this little mill area right here that you get lock boxes here, and you can lockpick over and over again to get to like 90 as well. But I think having a requirement over the level 90 lock picking for rogues in order to get runes is again a restriction that they should put on rogues. That one's not that huge of a deal. Again, it's one class that has that. It doesn't cost you silver or gold or whatever to do. Just requires time. It doesn't require nearly as much time as the priest buff system, in my opinion. So it's not like I'm not as annoyed by that one as I am the priest and the mage one specifically, but just something worth mentioning. The shaman and druid runes also have a thing where they for the shaman and druid runes, you like equip them as like a relic slot, and you have to do specific things in order to unlock that thing. You gain inspiration stacks, like 10 stacks, 5 stacks for some, but 10 stacks for others of inspiration. And it's something, as a shaman, you have to flame shock 10 targets in order to get 10 stacks of inspiration, and then you can learn a rune or whatever. That system I think is cool because it requires you to first you get the rune to drop right from these random mobs or whatever, or from looting it from these random things, and then you go out and you use an ability, and then you can just learn the rune. And I think that should be something that they implement across all classes. Like, you should have to use an ability to kind of build up, maybe rename it inspiration for some classes for the RP aspect of it, but building up the inspiration and then learning the rune is definitely one of the better systems. Let's see, you have warlock and paladins. They're like sheath of light and metamorphosis runes. Take a lot of time, requires traveling all over the world to do these runes, and it doesn't require nearly that amount of effort for every other class for runes. So like having to go all over the world for a rune for specific classes, and then other classes just can get it off of random drop for all of their runes, seems like a added restriction. It seems like something that should be like after the phase is done. I feel like you should shorten those quest lines, so that it takes much less time and requires you to run much less across the world in order to get the runes. I know friction of classic and all of that, but like it's old content at that point, and like doing level 25 at level 50 to run around the world, it's just a waste of time. It's not fun. It's not good gameplay, and I think good gameplay should override anything else, really. If it's not good gameplay, it should be changed to be good gameplay. I'm sure there's other things I'm missing here. I'm sure there's many more gripes that could be had with runes. Other things that I have thought of is, after a phase is completed, maybe make it where the runes drop from random mobs all over the world, like a 0.01% chance from every mob in the world, instead of having to do the quest line in order to get the runes. So then you're still doing quests in the world. It's not something that's locked behind instance. You're still killing things out in the world, but you have like a really low chance of getting the runes from quest mobs, which I think would encourage people to level questing rather than going into dungeons and leveling. And you just do that for runes that for like phase 1. Whenever phase 1 is over and you're into phase 2, all the phase 1 runes become like random world drops. When you're in phase 3, then phase 1 and 2 become random world drops. And you could even make it where it's a 0.01% for the previous phase runes, and it's 0.1% for the phase before that, and it's a 1% rune, or 1% chance for runes 3 phases ago, just to make sure that everyone gets all of the runes that you have developed and put into the game, for people that maybe aren't looking on Wowhead to figure out how to get these runes, and are just casually leveling in Classic because they like Classic leveling, but then they can also get these runes and have this cool experience without having to look on Wowhead for these lengthy rune quest lines that can be there. But yeah, that's just some of my rantings and ravings on this. I think runes are an amazing system. I believe that Season of Discovery is so much better than Classic Era is. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with that and they love Classic Era. More power to you, but I don't think I could ever play Classic Era without our Classic Era again after playing SoD. I just have having a lot more fun in SoD in general, and I am really looking forward to Phase 4. Anyways, that is it for me. Thank you for watching. 20 minutes of me ranting. Hopefully this gave some people some kind of idea about it. I'll also link my forum thread regarding this, and I have all this kind of written down in the first comment here. Anyways, thank you for watching. Center.